learning outcomes of this module. After studying this module, you will be able to know about the establishment of CFSLs, GQDs at different locations in the country. You can also learn about the state, regional and mobile forensic science laboratory and their establishment in the country. As the progress and development of forensic science is taking place in India, a need was felt to open more and more central, state, regional, mobile forensic science laboratories so that the number of samples can be analyzed and there should not be any pending case left in the laboratories. On the recommendations of Scientific Advisory Committee to the Cabinet, the CFSLs, GEQDs were opened at different locations in the country. Teaching of forensic science was also introduced at the university level. Let us now understand the details of development of forensic science in India with the help of visuals and graphics.
Government Examiner of Question Document, Calcutta and Hyderabad. Keeping in mind the increase in the cases related to forensic document examination, similar type of government examiner of question document laboratory GEQD was set up at Calcutta, Kolkata in 1964 and Hyderabad during 1969. Calcutta, presently Kolkata, was supposed to serve the central and eastern states of the country, whereas Hyderabad is supposed to cater the southern and western states of the country. Presently, GEQD Kolkata and Hyderabad has been merged with CFSL, Kolkata and Hyderabad respectively. Central and State Forensic Laboratory. Central Forensic Laboratory, Chandigarh. The third Central Forensic Science Laboratory was recognized as a scientific section of the Police Department of erstwhile Punjab in the year 1933 at Lahore. After independence, this laboratory was shifted to Philor in 1948 and then relocated at Chandigarh during 1961 under the Punjab government, which finally came under the Union Territory during 1966. The Government of India took over the control in 1978 and renamed as Central Forensic Science Laboratory and positioned underneath the organizational regulator of Bureau of Police Research and Development. Presently, CFSL Chandigarh has been declared as Center of Excellence for Physical Sciences, is working directly under the Directorate of Forensic Science Services located at CGO Complex, Lodhi Road, New Delhi. The following Central Forensic Science Advisory Committee were constituted to establish new forensic science laboratories. Central Forensic Science Laboratory under MHA was established at Calcutta 1957. Central Advisory Committee on Forensic Sciences MHA, New Delhi 1959. Central Medico-Legal Advisory Committee was established by the MHA, New Delhi to promote forensic medicine and its application 1955. The role of Central Advisory Committees. The Union government appointed above said two committees for the resolution of open-handed, a lead to all the states in establishing new forensic science research laboratory and cultivating the prevailing ones. And third, for refining the study and application of forensic medicine to law. The Central Medico Legal Advice Giving Committee was to direct the central and the state governments on matters related to medico legal processes and practices. The Central Advisory Committee on Forensic Science well thought out the matters associated to the domain of forensic science apart from forensic medicine. The Central Medico Legal Advisory Committee was withdrawn while the Central Forensic Science Advisory Committee was transformed into Standing Committee on Forensic Science during the year 1972, which is functional even today in BPR and D. Central Forensic Science Laboratory, CBI, New Delhi. Another Central Forensic Science Laboratory was established at New Delhi during 1966 and started functioning in 1968. It was positioned under the administrative governance of the Central Bureau of Investigation. This laboratory was initially made responsible for the analysis of crime exhibits related to document examination, fingerprint identification received from various investigating agencies, especially Delhi Police and Central Bureau of Investigation, like other states, and Central Forensic Science Lab remain to offer assistance in crime scene investigation scientifically. Forensic science laboratories in other states, encouraged by the Central Forensic Science Advisory Committee, several Indian states recognized their self-fully equipped laboratories. Some states upgraded their existing chemical examiners laboratories and scientific sections of the CID units into forensic science laboratories. Following table shows when and where these labs were established in India, states, year of opening of lab, Assam, 1964, Andhra Pradesh, 1974, Bihar, 1964, Delhi, 1993, Gujarat, 1974, Haryana, 1974, Himachal Pradesh, 1989, Jammu and Kashmir, 1964, Kerala, 1968, Manipur, 1989, Maharashtra, 1958, Meghalaya, 1989, Orissa, 1968, Punjab, 1981, Rajasthan, 1971, Uttar Pradesh, 1969. State Forensic Science Laboratory, Bombay was started by merging Chemical Examiners Laboratory in 1958. This was followed by similar laboratories in Madras, Punjab, Bihar, MP, etc. Over the years, the goal of at least one forensic science laboratory in each and every state was sought to be achieved expeditiously. Earlier, almost all state forensic science laboratories were a part of the police department. Nevertheless, now it is a self governing department under the control of home departments of the states. Regional forensic science laboratories. Presently, many states have opened their regional forensic science laboratories. For example, Tamil Nadu State Forensic Science Lab has added 9 regional forensic science laboratories (RFSLs) and positions at the resulting 9 districts: Coimbatore, Salem, Vellore, Villupuram, Trichy, Tanjavur, Madurai, Ramananthapuram, Tirunelveli. In an effort to decentralize forensic science services and with the increasing requirement and loads of the investigating assistances, 5 regional forensic science laboratories were recognized at all 5 police ranges. They are located at Mangalore, Devanagar, Belgaum, Gulbarga, and Mysore. At present, only 2 divisions, namely forensic biology and forensic toxicology, are working in each of the regional forensic science laboratory (RFSL). Devanagar has photography department. Similarly, the Andhra State Forensic Science Lab APFSL, understanding the necessity and significance to offer diagnostic reports sharply and successfully, it has long drawn out its activities at regional level. Regional forensic science laboratories are functioning at Vishakhapatnam, Vijayawada, Kurnool, Guntur, Warangal, Tirupati, Kamareddy, and Karimnagar. Maharashtra, Nagpur in 1966, Pune in 1979, and Aurangabad in 1981. Odisha, Baharampur, Sambalpur, Balasore. Gujarat, Junagadh, Ahmedabad, Surat, Valsad, Vadodara, Gandhinagar, and Rajkot. Kerala, Kannur in the year 2004, Thrissur in the year 2007. Rajasthan, Udaipur, Kota, Jodhpur, Bikaner, likely Bharatpur also. Delhi government is planning to open 3 more regional laboratories. Mobile Forensic Science Laboratories. Mobile forensic science laboratories or field units of forensic science laboratories has been established in certain states. The staff of the mobile forensic science laboratories assists the investigating officer in assembling of evidences after the scenes of crime. State number of mobile forensic science laboratories: Tamil Nadu 36, 1 for each district and commissionerate. Karnataka 20, 1 for each district and commissionerate. Andhra Pradesh 24, 1 for each district and commissionerate. Clues: District Forensic Science Labs. Orissa 15, Gujarat 34, Kerala 17, Rajasthan 34, Punjab 3. Indian Academy of Forensic Science. The Indian Academy of Forensic Science IAFS was established in the year 1960. This academy started a biennial scientific journal which assisted as an opportunity for the discussion of concepts, in forensic science with the other international bodies. The part of the Academy remained desirous to grip annual scientific conferences, sessions, or assistance in holding conferences in forensic science. In fact, it was at the insistence of this academy that the government of India recognized the neuron activation analysis entity to outfit for the forensic requirement in the country. Teaching of forensic science in the universities. The question of introducing criminology and forensic science as the way of training at the university level in India was reserved with the vice chancellors of several universities during 1950. Nevertheless, the progress made in this tract was not encouraging. The need for university training of criminology and forensic science was also strained in several annual meetings of the Central Advisory Committee on Forensic Science, a commission regulated by Shri K. F. Rustamji, encountered the chairman, University Grants Commission, in August 1961, and the matter was once more reserved up by Shri D.P. Kohli, the then director of Central Bureau of Investigation in 1967. As a consequence of these consultations, Dr. T.S. Kothari, the then chairman of University Grants Commission, conventional a high-level commission to advise the commission on the stages to be occupied for overview of criminology and forensic sciences in university education. It recommended that universities ought to be fortified to announce courses in criminology at the undergraduate courses and postgraduate courses in criminology and forensic science should be ongoing only in a central self-governing institution, which would be affiliated to a university. Accordingly, three universities, namely University of Sagar, Madras, and Patiala, started undergraduate and postgraduate courses in forensic science. It was additionally recommended that, as a preliminary step in this direction, one institute under the central government must be recognized in Delhi. The committee recommended those two courses which are master's degree in criminology and master's degree in forensic science should be organized in this institute, as well as diploma courses for in-service personnel. The institute ought to develop as an epicenter for research in criminology and forensic science and would perform as the clearing house of updated information in these arenas. LNJP, National Institute of Criminology and Forensic Science at New Delhi. After a series of debates at the government level, it was decided that initially the Institute of Criminology and Forensic Science should be established only for training the in-service personnel and for conducting research in the field of forensic science. It was fingered that without the state governments and the customer organizations decided to contribute in the pattern, it would not be judicious to start courses for granting postgraduate degrees. Though the eventual aim of the institute was to grow into a full grown educational institution associated to a university. With the above aim in view, the Institute of Criminology and Forensic Science ICFS was established in Delhi during 1971 with the limited objectives of imparting training to the in-service personnel and conducting research in criminology and forensic science. It was also envisioned that the institute should have two separate faculties, which is the Faculty of Criminology and the Faculty of Forensic Science, and both should have a number of well known teachers and researchers with satisfactory experience and field experience. Creation of Forensic Science Division at BPR&D. On an invitation from the Government of India, Dr. V.K. Street, an eminent forensic scientist from the Department of Forensic Medicine, University of Edinburgh, UK, visited different Indian forensic science institutions during 1972 and submitted a report to the Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India. He powerfully suggested for the formation of a post of Chief Forensic Scientist in the Ministry of Home Affairs to look after its forensic science events and to pay whole-time attention for the development of this science in India. The Standing Commission on Forensic Science during 1973 also suggested for the establishment of a designation of Chief Forensic Scientist so that the activities which needed scientific inputs at the union government level could be properly coordinated. The post of Chief Forensic Scientist was finally certified during 1983 and the Forensic Science Directorate was created in BPR&D. Recommendations of Scientific Advisory Committee to the Cabinet. The then Scientific Advisory Committee to the Cabinet SACC underneath the largely supervision of an expert committee headed by Professor M. Sharma, FRS, in 1983 recommended that the laboratories in Delhi, Calcutta, and Hyderabad must be developed as S&T institutions functioning in an autonomous fashion with complete modernization of equipment and manpower capabilities. In enactment of these endorsements, the Government of India declared the forensic science institutions at the central government level as science and technology institution. Based on the observations of the expert group of the SACC, BPR&D evolved a master plan for restructuring each CFSL of the BPR&D into 15 scientific divisions. In the first phase, the three central forensic science laboratories in Calcutta, Hyderabad, and Chandigarh were restructured into six scientific divisions, which are biology, ballistics, chemistry, explosives, physics, and toxicology. Likewise, the offices of the government examiners of question documents at Shimla, Calcutta, Kolkata, and Hyderabad were reinforced in terms of manpower. In addition to the extension of staff, all the BPR&D presently under Directorate of Forensic Science Services laboratories recorded significant progress in the acquisition of classy analytical equipment and updating, renovating the laboratory and library amenities also for the employees of these institutions. A directive to CFSLs of BPR&D. During mid-1990s, it was realized that most of the states have established their own forensic science laboratories, and hence the role of CFSLs to provide forensic analytical support to different states has got diluted. Hence, the utility of three CFSLs at the national level was questioned. During 1997, This apprehension led to the procedure of significant on the part of the CFSLs of presently working under Directorate of Forensic Science Amenities de novo. The explanation for the reality of the three central forensic science laboratories underneath the BPR and D presently working under Directorate of Forensic Science Services was assumed to be twofold. One, they should act as essences of quality and high standards for the state laboratories to emulate. They must not only set evidently sophisticated ethics in excellence of analytical procedures and recording accuracy, but also should be the mine of ideals and standards against which the presentation of all the state FSLs can be judged. BPR and D should, therefore, have a decisive say in the process of accreditation not only of its own CFSLs, GEQDs, but also of all state FSLs. Furthermore, since forensic science is one of the supreme vibrant sciences, CFSLs should offer R&D support to its field of science. All newfangled research, expansion, and discovery in any discipline of science must have a potential of request in forensic science. Newer, improved, and more trustworthy technologies settled in all the disciplines are essential to be coupled for the combat against crime. The BPR and D CFSLs should scout around for new developments around the realm of forensic science and adapt them for use in labs, standardize the processes, and disseminate them to the state FSLs. In order to achieve this human facility, the CFSLs require maintaining great criterions and specializations manner outside what is possible in the state FSLs. Policy was developed to bring about a comprehensive standard change in the structure of the three BPR and D CFSLs and provide them a new focused mandate of R&D and specialized training. It emerged that while conserving their complex structure, the three laboratories should have subject detailed exclusivity and be developed as the centers of excellence for research and development and specialized training in the designated fields. Consequently, during 1998, the three CFSLs were rationalized with an objective to create cooperation and motivation devotion on research and development events in the thrust areas of forensic science. This was probably merely if all the existing assets are united in the elected centers of excellence fairly than range them very ready on the entire powdered. Besides focusing on their central action of R&D and specialized training in the designated field of forensic science, these laboratories also undertake crime case examination in all the fields of forensic science. However, the monotonous forensic analysis case work has now been constrained to those acknowledged from the central government organizations and state governments, union territories, which have not so far recognized their own forensic science services. These research laboratories also turned as the recommended core for supervision of forensic investigation of crime cases demanding wide-ranging investigation and high expertise received from the courts of law, state, and central forensic science institutions and other crime investigating agencies in India. The selected fields were preferred as follows: CFSL, Calcutta Forensic Biological Science; CFSL, Hyderabad Forensic Chemical Sciences; CFSL, Chandigarh Forensic Physical Sciences; Three more have been added to it: CFSL Bhopal, CFSL Pune, CFSL Guwahati. The Neuron Activation Analysis Unit of CFSL Calcutta, operating at the BARC, Mumbai, was carried under the managerial control of CFSL Hyderabad. Establishment of DNA typing laboratory at CFSL Calcutta. After the invention of DNA fingerprinting technique, it was applied successfully to forensic cases first time by Alec Jeffrey in 1984. In a comeback to successful application and the mounting demands of providing in elevation technology to the crime investigation progression, BPR and D established the first forensic DNA typing facility at CFSL Calcutta during 1998. The application of this high-tech technique signifies the noteworthy development in the forensic biology in the country. The DNA typing entity at CFSL Calcutta, now Kolkata, is furnished with the maximum present-day techniques of DNA typing, specifically polymerase chain reaction (PCR) centered method, HLA-DQ alpha and polymarker technique, and locus specific restricted fragment length polymorphism technique. This laboratory, after being functional, has remained mentioned in numerous crime cases associated to murder, rape, rape and murder, paternity disputes, organ transplant, exchange of babies in hospitals, etc. DNA typing ability has been more elevated to compartment short tandem repeat sequence based DNA typing. First independent forensic science laboratory. India's first self-governing forensic science laboratory was established at Hyderabad in October 2007 on the inventiveness of Dr. K.P.C. Gandhi, former Inspector General of Police and Executive Director of Andhra Pradesh Forensic Science Lab, who was liable for India's leading and model forensic science lab, the APFSL, with ISO 9001 and ISO 17025 authorization, and was named as Truth Labs. The solitary aim of Truth Labs was assisting the sufferers of crime and reviving the deep-rooted convention of truth and justice in the Indian society by providing methodical investigation and detective amenities by using current forensic tools and methods at inexpensive cost with international quality. Truth Labs is also associated with Crime Stoppers Foundation India, which is a part of Crime Stoppers International, a global network of citizen creativity to compete against crime. Truth Labs is established by reputed forensic experts with superior professional competence. Truth Labs is directed and managed by foremost personalities from the arenas of law lords, management, police department, security, science and technology, commercial and social service sectors, and by alleged forensic experts with greater professional proficiency.
Summary. Let us recapitulate what we have learned in this module. After establishment of two central forensic science laboratory at Hyderabad and Kolkata, the third central forensic science laboratory was established in 1933 as a scientific section of the police department, erstwhile Punjab, at Lahore. India's first independent private forensic science laboratory was established at Hyderabad in October 2007 by Dr. K.P.C. Gandhi. The request for introducing criminology and forensic science as the course of study at the university level in India was taken up by the vice chancellors of several universities during 1950, but there was no advancement made and was not inspiring at that time. But presently, there are large number of universities which are opting for this course of forensic science at a graduate and postgraduate and doctorate level. GEQD Shimla, Kolkata and Hyderabad was amalgamated with CFSL's Chandigarh, Kolkata and Hyderabad respectively very recently. This is all we have done very recently. Thank you.